The air in the living room felt heavy, like it was holding its breath. As I stared at the phone in my hand, its screen glowing with a truth I wasn't ready to face. A single text message illuminated in the dim light of our shared apartment, burned through the quiet. I can't wait to see you again, love. Last night was everything. It wasn't from me. It was from a number I didn't know, sent to my wife Elena at 2:47 a.m. My thumb hovered over the screen, trembling, as the world I'd built with her over 7 years began to crack. I'd always trusted Elena implicitly. Her laugh, bright and unfiltered, could pull me out of any darkness. Her hazel eyes, flecked with gold, held a warmth that made me feel like I was home, no matter where we were. We'd met in college, two kids too broke to afford anything but instant noodles, dreaming of a life bigger than our bank accounts. I proposed 2 years ago under a sky bruised with stars, slipping a modest ring onto her finger as she cried and nodded. That ring, scratched and worn from daily life, sat on her finger now as she slept in our bedroom, oblivious to the storm brewing in my chest. The text wasn't the first sign I realized as my mind clawed through memories. The late nights at work that stretched longer than her job ever had. The way her phone was always face down now. A silent barrier between us. The perfume she started wearing, sharp and unfamiliar, when she'd always loved soft florals. Each clue had been a whisper, but I'd ignored them, too afraid to hear the truth. Now the evidence was undeniable, and my heart pounded with a mix of rage and grief. I didn't wake her. Not yet. Instead, I sat on the couch, the phone's glow casting shadows across the room, and let the questions tear me apart. Who was he? How long had this been going on? Did she laugh with him the way she used to with me? The apartment, once a sanctuary of shared dreams, our mismatched furniture, the photos of us pinned to the fridge, felt like a stage for a play I no longer understood. Morning broke, gray and heavy, matching the weight in my chest. Elena emerged from the bedroom, her hair a messy halo, her smile soft but guarded. "Morning, Nate," she said, her voice warm but distant, like she was speaking through a veil. She moved to the kitchen, oblivious to the phone still clutched in my hand. "Elena," I said, my voice low, unsteady. She froze, her hand on the coffee pot, and turned slowly. Her eyes flicked to the phone, and in that moment I saw it, the flicker of fear, the realization that her secret was no longer safe. "What's wrong?" she asked, her tone too careful, like she was stepping around broken glass. I held up the phone, the text still open. "Who's this?" My voice cracked, betraying the calm I was trying to hold on to. "Who's calling you love at 3 in the morning?" Her face drained of color, her lips parting as if to speak, but no words came. The silence was louder than any confession. I stood, my legs unsteady, and stepped closer. "Tell me, Elena. Tell me what's going on." "It's not what you think," she said quickly, her hands rising as if to push the accusation away. "It's just a friend. A coworker." "You're overreacting." "A coworker?" I laughed, a bitter sound that scraped my throat. "A coworker who texts you about last night being everything? Don't lie to me, Elena. Not now." Her eyes filled with tears, but they didn't fall. She crossed her arms, hugging herself, and looked away. "Nate, please. Let's not do this." "Do what?" My voice rose, the anger spilling over. "Face the truth? You've been lying to me, haven't you? How long, Elena? How long have you been sneaking around?" She flinched, and the tears finally spilled. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she whispered. "It was a mistake. A stupid, stupid mistake." The word mistake hit me like a punch. "A mistake," I repeated, my voice shaking. "You don't accidentally fall into someone else's bed. You don't accidentally betray the person you promised to love forever." "It wasn't like that," she cried, her voice breaking. "It was just, I don't know, Nate. I felt lost. You were always working, always so focused on the future, and I felt like I was disappearing. He saw me." Her words cut deeper than I thought possible. "I've been working overtime, yes, to save for a house for the family we talked about. Every late night, every missed dinner was for us. So this is my fault?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "I was trying to build something for us, and you threw it away because you felt unseen?" "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said, stepping toward me, her hands reaching out. I stepped back and her hands fell empty. "I love you, Nate. I do. I got caught up in something I didn't know how to stop." Who is he? I demanded, my voice hard now. Tell me his name. She hesitated, her lips trembling. It doesn't matter. It matters to me, I shouted, slamming the phone onto the counter. The sound echoed, sharp and final. Tell me who he is, Elena, or I swear I'll find out myself. His name is Mark, she said finally, her voice barely audible. He's someone from work. Mark. The name lodged in my chest like a splinter. I didn't know him, but I could picture him. Some smug coworker who'd seen an opening and taken it. How long? I asked again, my voice cold. A few months, she admitted, her eyes fixed on the floor. It started as just talking, then it became more. I'm so sorry, Nate. Sorry. The word felt hollow, meaningless. I looked at her, the woman I'd loved so fiercely, and saw a stranger. The ring on her finger caught the light, mocking me. 7 years of promises, of late-night talks and shared dreams, reduced to this. A confession in a kitchen that smelled of burnt coffee and regret. I regret every moment with you, she said suddenly, her voice rising, raw with emotion. Not because I don't love you, but because I've ruined it. I've ruined us. Her words hit like a blade, slicing through the last threads of hope I'd been clinging to. I stared at her, my vision blurring with tears I refused to let fall. Then it's over, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. I pulled the ring from my pocket, the matching band I wore, the one I'd slipped on with vows of forever, and threw it across the room. It hit the wall with a dull clink and fell to the floor. It's over forever, Elena gasped, her hand flying to her mouth, but she didn't move to pick it up. She stood there, frozen, as the weight of my words settled between us. I turned and walked to the door, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. Every step felt like tearing myself apart, but I couldn't stay. Not in that apartment, not with her, not with the ghost of who we used to be. Outside, the city was waking up, indifferent to the wreckage of my life. I walked, not knowing where I was going, the cold air stinging my face. My mind replayed every moment, the text, her confession, the way her eyes had pleaded for forgiveness I couldn't give. Trust, once so solid, lay shattered at my feet. I thought of the future we'd planned, the house with the blue shutters, the kids we'd imagined. All of it was gone, replaced by a void I didn't know how to fill. Hours later, I found myself at the park where I'd proposed. The bench was still there, weathered but unchanged. I sat, my hands shaking, and let the tears come. I didn't know if I hated her or still loved her, or both. The pain was a living thing clawing at my chest, but beneath it was something else, clarity. I couldn't go back. Not to her, not to the life we'd had. The betrayal had rewritten our story, and I had to start a new one alone. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of fire and ash, I made a silent promise to myself. I'd rebuild piece by piece even if it took years. Elena's betrayal had broken me, but it wouldn't define me. I stood, leaving the park behind, and walked into the unknown, carrying the weight of a love lost and the faint hope of a future I'd have to find on my own.